This is Dave, the Guru, and another tutorial using Gamesalad. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use custom fonts to create custom scores. Now, since the display text behavior can be kind of ugly in Gamesalad, it's always nice to use your own custom images to do a score that matches the graphic design of your game. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, one of the first things you're going to need to do is create a series of images that represent the numbers 0 through 9. And you're going to want to label each one of those with the number that corresponds to the matching image. So as you can see, I've got them labeled 0 through 9. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into this number and we're going to make a single actor out of it. And we don't need to make any other actors for all these other ones. I'm going to show you a trick on how to change the image based on the number. It's part of the crucial labeling here in order to do that. So let's go ahead into our actor, and I'm going to show you the basics of this prototype. Now, one of the first things that we're going to want to do for a simple custom score is we're going to want to make a self attribute, an integer, and we're going to want to call it divisor. I just use div. Forget this second one, display, as I'm going to show you how to interpolate the score up later on. So we can shut this rule off for right now. And we're going to just go ahead and look at this constrain attribute. And then we'll look at this side. So we're going to constrain the self image graphics. Oh, I'm sorry. Self image right here. We're going to constrain the self image to this equation. And we're going to use the floor function, which you'll find in the expressions. So it's right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do two open brackets. And then we're going to do our score. So whatever your score attribute is. So we'll go game. I'll change this and then change it back after. So we're going to do game.score percent our self divider, which is this over here, and then divide and close bracket, then divided by open bracket self divisor divided by 10, two close brackets. Then we're going to put two periods or dots in here, and this is in an expression what gives us the separation between an expression or attributes and text. So then we're going to do that, and then we need to do all text, as we know in Gamesalad. In order to make it identified in a string as text, we need to put it in quotation marks. So we're going to put .png inside quotation marks after the two periods, and this is going to add that file extension to this first part of this math, which is actually going to leave us with the number in the place that the number is. So that's the expression right there. So let's go ahead now and let's go back, and you'll see I've got four actors here in my timer, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up the first one. So what I've just done is drag this single actor on the screen, and I've just duplicated it. So in the first actor, we're going to go ahead and we're going to modify this divisor number. Now, as you can see, I'm able to keep the prototype locked because I'm only modifying the self attributes. And this is a great way to make custom duplicate actors. I have a video on that, and it's a really good one. You should watch it. So in this first number, we're going to put in the number 10 in this divisor because it's in the 10th spot, or tenths as we count up. So in the divisor, in the first one, we're going to put 10. Then in the second one, we're going to put 100. So it's going to go up by a 0 every time, basically, each place. So then we're going to do 1,000. And then we're going to do 10,000. So now, if you wanted to have more numbers, you would just keep adding 1 0 for each number place as you go up. So let's just go ahead and look at my score attribute, and you're going to see I put in a score of 1,250. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. And you're going to see there it is. It's showing my score. So if I come over here and I change it to 250, it's going to go ahead and show 250. Now that we've got that settled, I'm going to show you now how to, because see this 0 here? It doesn't look very good having that 0 in there. So actually I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you how to make this 0 so that if any of these, say you only had 7 points, it would only show a 7. I'm going to show you how to make that stuff appear and disappear based on the amount of the score. And then I'm also going to show you another cool trick on how to interpolate the score, which makes the numbers move up. It's kind of a cool effect. So let's go ahead, and one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to add a game attribute to our just basic score attribute. So here we have our basic score where we're keeping track of what our total score is during the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another integer attribute, and we're just going to leave it at 0, and I'm calling it interpolate score. So now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead into this actor, and I'm going to show you the code I've got for displaying. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add another integer attribute in here called display, and then we're going to go ahead up into this equation. And we're going to say when game interpolate score is greater than self display, change the self color alpha, so you go self color alpha to 1, which is going to make it visible. 1 is visible, 0 is not. And then we're going to go in the otherwise section, and we're going to do self color alpha to 0. And then what we need to do is we're going to come up into our self image attribute here, and we're going to change this game.score to our game.interpolate score. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at, we want to now be looking at not the game.score, but the interpolate score. So we start at 0. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to come into our little, I put it in the scoreboard actor here, and I've dragged in an interpolate behavior, and I've said interpolate attribute game.interpolate score to game.score. So it's going to take the value from game.score and start to interpolate those numbers up, and I've done a duration of 5 seconds, and I've done an ease in, ease out on it. And now let's go ahead and look and see what we need to add, just like we did with the divisors, into these numbers. So the first one in the display is going to be 0, because we're just counting 1 to 10, so it's going to be 0. And this works very similarly in a progression as we do with the divisor. So now in here, we're going to do 9 in the next one. And then in the next one, we're going to do 99. And then in the last one, we're going to do 999. So in the same way, you're going to just keep adding a 9 every time you go up into the higher numbers. So now when we go ahead and we preview this, you can see that it's going to interpolate it up, and it's going to leave out the other 0. So if we went in and we changed the score to 7, we're just going to get 7. If we went and changed it to 1,000, over 1,000, it's going to interpolate it up to that number. So this is a little trick for how to do custom scores and add a little pizzazz to your scoring menus. You can find me on the forums under the name Lost Oasis Games. This is Dave, the Guru. I'll see you in the next video.